Maddie's going to explain to us how she did the bell ringer. Let's pay close attention, just in case anybody made a mistake. Maddie, go ahead.
I multiplied by 1/2.
Okay, and what'd you get for the coordinates? Would you read those out loud? That way they can hear you on camera or on the video.
A prime is 1, 2. B prime was -1, -2.5. C prime is -3, 3.5.
Thank you. Abby, tell us, do you agree or disagree?
I agree.
Yeah, perfect. So, last week we talked about dilations, and pretty much to make it, to do a dilation, you just multiply everything by the scale factor. And then you would put your original and your new. Yes, you can leave it as a fraction. The only thing I would recommend whenever you change it to a decimal, you need to change, or the only time I would recommend changing it to a decimal is if you have to plot it. And that's only because, like, that -2.5 would be -5/2. And I would have a hard time graphing -5/2 on a number line. And for me, it'd be easier if it was a decimal. But your answers can be fractions or decimals. Okay, good question. What other questions do you have for me? Okay. All right, just as a review, remember to find your scale factor. It's CP prime over the length of CP. So, for instance, if I had point X and it had, let's say it had a scale factor, let's say, nope, I don't have that point C. Here's P. Here's P prime. From C to P is 8, and C to P prime is 12. How would I find the scale factor of that? What would I do? 8 divided by 12. Okay. Do y'all agree with that? Remember, it's the length from C to P prime over C to P. What's the
12 divided by 8?
Yeah, so you go from C to P prime on top, which is 12. And then from C to P goes on bottom. So 12/8, reduce that by 4, you get 3/2. So awesome. So yeah, you put it as a fraction. Just remember that C to P prime goes on top. All right. For today, you have a class assignment worksheet that's due in class. Okay. Numbers 1 and 2, you just have to find the scale factor. Make sure you reduce. You can either leave it as a fraction, a decimal, or a percent. Either one's fine. And 3, 4, 5, and 6, you graph. If you just want to put the new coordinates right underneath it or to the side, that's okay. You will notice that they do have percent. So there's a -75% and then 50%. I believe our calculators have a percent button. If they don't, you can change it to a decimal. 75% is 0.75, 50% is 0.50. If you wanted to multiply it by that instead of a percent. It's due at the end of class. Bailey, let me pause this video and then I will show you a couple problems on your notes.